Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Work with me, you know.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. How's everybody doing out here on this fantastic Thursday? Well, right now we are sitting about 3 days away from week 4. And honestly, it's such a good matchup here. I'm super excited. I do got a guest that we're going to bring on here. My guy, Alex from Locked On Cardinals. We're going to be bringing on him pretty soon. But let me give a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the video, ladies and gentlemen. BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2. Now, that is going to be up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right, let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and bring up my guest, Alex from Locked On Cardinals. What's up, man? How are you doing today?
I appreciate having me, man. I'm doing well. Excited for this week.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for coming on here. I love bringing on guests because I love the idea of just going back and forth and actually talking about, the Cardinals and the state of where we are at. Let me know what your thoughts are. Now, obviously, a couple plays could have determined if the Cardinals were 3-0, 2-1, but we are now finding ourselves at 1-2. What do you think about this Arizona Cardinals in 2024 so far in your mind?
It's not bad. So that's good. I think it's kind of a B-, which is, it could have been a lot worse. They could have not come out and beat the doors off the Rams. It could have been a, oh no, what's going on here? Is it 2025 and this year's going to stink again? But the good is really good with Marvin Harrison Jr. Things are really starting to mesh there. It's not perfect yet. The defense has played out of their minds compared to what the roster looks like. So it's a lot better than bad.
Yeah.
It sounds really dumb to say, but it's not bad, and that's good so far.
Yeah, no, that's actually, you're right. You're 100% right. I think there is a lot of things to look forward to. Now, when I'm looking at the fan base, I do still see a lot of pessimists out there. Like, I see a lot of pessimistic fans that are still not believing in either A, Kyler Murray, B, Jonathan Gannon, or just, I guess, the state of the Cardinals right now. Do you feel like we're going in the right direction?
Yeah. I mean, all it took for me was week 1 against Washington last year, seeing how those guys showed up on game day with no talent on the roster, with Kyler Murray out, Josh Dobbs not having been here for 2 weeks as the quarterback. You could tell it was different. The culture is different. The ecosystem is different. If Budda Baker really wanted to leave, if things were that bad, he would have been gone. There isn't a reason for these guys to buy into this new regime just because it's new. Jonathan Gannon is leader of men. Monty Osford has put him in a position to succeed, and the coordinators are doing a damn good job too. The pessimism's tough, man, because it's you want everything to be good now. It's okay, Kyler Murray's healthy. They drafted all those people. Now let's be good now, because I don't want to wait. That's not how this stuff works, man. 2025, if they don't make the playoffs in 2025, we're gonna have very, very difficult conversations to have. But this year, it's kind of see where they're at. If they make the playoffs, cool. If they win 8 games, that's doubling what it was last year. So you got to take that as a win also.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to, obviously, with what's happening in the NFC West right now, there's a little hope. Well, I guess I want to say hope, and I don't want to make sure, I'm not trying to celebrate any injury or anything like that, but you can't ignore the fact that there's just so many injuries happening in the NFC West, right? Especially in the 49ers, which are the big brothers of the Arizona Cardinals, and exactly what they're currently going through right now. Do you see a sliver of hope that the Arizona Cardinals could potentially, I'm not going to come out here and say win the division, but I mean, at least have the number 2 spot? Do you think that is realistic to believe as a Cardinal fan?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The outside things that we have, in the Valley, just media members, fans, team have no control over is other teams and their injuries and how they produce. The Cardinals are in a much better position through 3 games, only having 1 win than anybody would have ever expected.
Yeah.
So you take that. It's okay, control the controllables, and then the NFL is bananas and crazy stuff happens all the time. So just stay the course, do the right things. And if you I think to get the division win, you got to win 10 games. Like, I don't believe Seattle's 3-0 good.
I mean,
I
I
don't
agree.
know if I see 10 wins on the Cardinals schedule either. Like, they need to win games that they're supposed to win, like on Sunday, but they also have to win those 50-50 games, 40-60 games that they lost against Detroit. So it's really going to be predicated upon how they win those games that are toss-ups or where they're underdogs, and they have to win the games where they're favorites. And then who the hell knows, man? Well,
Right.
last or first happens all the time. And why not the Cardinals with this offense, you know?
Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, we've seen a lot of good things. I mean, obviously with week one, I think a lot of people made a big deal with the whole Marvin Harrison Jr. thing. And I thought it was rightfully so, honestly. I think that was a very fair question to say, what the heck is going on? Well, one reception for 4 yards is absolutely unacceptable, especially when you use a first round pick. But they changed it, right? That they got the gears going. They got Marvin and Kyler going. And we did see continuing to happen in week three. Did we expect more production? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we're getting our first round pick involved, and that's exactly what we're really looking forward to. How do you see their connection right now, in terms of, in your own opinion, while you're watching these games? Do you think that this is going to be the next tandem of the future here, or are you a little bit more tempered expectations for these two?
I think the former has a really good chance of happening. It's just clunky right now. Like, I don't care how many reps you do, in the off season in shorts, like that's great. That's necessary. It'll shorten the curve, but it's clunky. They've only
Yeah.
played 3 games together. Marvin Harrison Jr. has only played 3 games in the NFL. And a lot of this, in my opinion, is on Kyler Murray not throwing him catchable balls to just get it's not even get his juices flowing. He's comfortable already. He's
Right.
cool. But it's more for the offense where it's like, okay, throw 2 or 3 5 or 7 yard outs just to keep the defense honest, and then you could run the ball. Then Trey McBride gets open. Like, I'm starting to realize very quickly that he is what will unlock this entire offense and not James Conner. I mean, I could be wrong there, but it's like, if you can throw the ball and you can consistently get him open, and he's catching more than 50% of his targets, like he did, I think it was 5 for 11 last week. That's
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Yeah,
That
it's
can't
wild.
happen. But a lot of it's clunky, and it's going to take reps. And they're just playing. They're both elite athletes. They're both very good at what they do, and that's what they're living on right now. But they
Yeah.
got to get to that next level where, they're inseparable, and it could take years, dude. I mean, it takes years a lot with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Peyton Manning and all things like that. It takes a lot of time.
Let me ask you this, and this is one of those questions that if you want to plead the fifth, that's completely fine. I respect it. But it has to do with
I
Kyler
promise
Murray.
I will not plead the fifth for you.
Okay, it has to do with Kyler Murray. I've been on this obviously YouTube channel here for quite some time, and I've said it this year where this is a big year for Kyler Murray. And I feel like he does need to prove that franchise quarterback is still a thing out there, right? Especially because he's got that price tag on him. Now, I'm not going to come out here and say, if we don't win the division, he's gone. We don't win. No, I'm obviously not. But I do think that there is a certain level of wins that we need to attain to, and I'm looking somewhere around 7 to 8. I feel like that should be attainable for this Arizona Cardinal team. I mean, obviously 8 and 9 would be a lot better, but I mean, do you have that expectation too for this franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray? Or are you more just like, this is year 2, chillax, relax? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I am more in the camp with you where it's like there's no excuses anymore. There's and reasons, not excuses. I always say Kyler Murray won despite Cliff Kingsbury, not because of him. He was doing it on his own for the first 5 years of his career. Then he tore his ACL. Things are different now. Okay, there's more stability now. With that, he's got the best offense he's ever had. He's got the best offensive line he's ever had. But when it's directly correlative to wins and losses, one of the fun things people say is wins aren't a quarterback stat. They're only on the field for half the time, and the defense is the way it is. Kyler Murray can't lose them games, and he hasn't done that yet. The offense didn't look great last week in the second half, but it's kind of a different metric, especially. And then the real brain teaser of this is, you're a huge sports fan. You love football. Like, how much bad quarterback play there is in the NFL, you kind of have to grade on a curve. Like, even if Kyler Murray has been a B this year, he's an A+ for 20 other teams. So it's like, yeah, the money's there. He's now 10th highest paid. So it's not as bad, but it's still a lot. But it's not Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts who are crapping the bed. Like, which one matters more? The direct correlation between wins and losses for the Cardinals, or him on the open market, because 27 other teams would be calling if the Cardinals wanted to trade him tomorrow. So that should play into it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to skate the question. There's just more things that are in play than just wins and losses. But yes, I don't think he's going to fail this year, and there's also no excuses for him if he does.
That's fair. No, that's exactly the way I should answer it too, as well, because I'm on the board where like I've already seen Cardinal fans here in the chat. Like there's specific Cardinal fans that I already know that they're just like, let me talk. They want to go on all in. But to be honest with you, like as a Cardinal fan, like there's no way for me to come out here and wish a downfall from him. Like I need him to succeed. I want this Cardinal team to do good. So like there's just I don't know. It's one of those things where I do believe him as well, and I think that there's some winnable games in this season. It's just oh man, just with what we've been dealing with as Cardinal fans, it's hard to not look back and feel that snake bitten. But I think if we can get this win on Sunday, that I think it can turn our season around for hopefully the better. So, all right, I appreciate that. Let's go and move on over to the next thing. I want to talk a little Hassan Reddick.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on? Do you think the Cardinals should make a play? Now, I get it. Monty Austinfort has not done anything like this before in the 2 years. So I guess let's take away from, do you think Monty will do it? But do you, as a guy who covers the Arizona Cardinals, would you want the Cardinals to make a move like that this year? Or are you more on board of, let's see what we do and then let's do that next year? What are your thoughts?
For the right price is the easy answer. He's not going to get $25 million in the open market anymore. And the Jets ruined that for everybody because they traded for him pretty much with the implied situation that, oh yeah, you're going to get paid now. And they haven't done it. They haven't come to an agreement, which is just the Jets being the Jets. But it also kind of puts a damper on the entire thing where he's not getting any younger. He hasn't practiced all offseason.
Yeah.
If he comes in, like the next question is, will one guy make this defense better? Will one guy have this defense so much more in tune that they're going to win more games than they lose without him here? And I don't know that answer. I don't know if the defense is so far off with Justin Jones being gone. There's injuries everywhere. Darius Robinson's coming back. BJ Ojulari's out. Like, I don't know. Would it be fun? Sure.
Right.
For the right price point? Absolutely. But what Monty Osfort, like, say the Cardinals win the next 2 games, okay? So
Right.
say they beat Washington, and then they beat the 49ers who are hobbled, and then they have Green Bay. So before Green Bay, they're what would that be? 3-2. It's like, okay, they're going to be right in the middle of the division. There's a lot of bad teams. Monty, why wait till next year if you've got the cheese, you've got the capital? Why not do it now?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to wait just for waiting's sake. The Cardinals started 0-3, you wait. But if they're in contention through 4 or 5 weeks, there's no reason to wait. I think it would be they'd be more inclined to do something like that then. But it starts immediately with, we'll give you a 2-year deal with $35 million guaranteed. Like, you're not going to break the bank with the Cardinals anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I think that we need to see what this Cardinal team can do because as Cardinal fans, we love to say, oh yeah, we got that win, right? Because I mean, it's any given Sunday at the end of the day. And you're right. I think if the Cardinals are in a situation where they are winning more than they are losing, and that could be easily as a 3-2, that can be easily as a maybe even a 500 team. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that Monty doesn't believe in this team because obviously he does. He built it, but like we still need to see production. And I think that if the Cardinals are winning, I think that can sway the Cardinals to potentially make a move like this. Now, you're right. I think you also got to think about those thoughts of Hassan Reddick has not gone through, the OTAs, the training camp. Are we going to get the Hassan Reddick of what we know, right? The double-digit sacks kind of guy. I don't know, but I do believe that a good edge rusher can win you 1 or 2 games. And that's the thing. Like the Cardinals so far within 3 games, I feel like I'm not gonna say we should have been 3-0, but we could have been 2-1. Like we literally could have been, and it could have been like 2 or 3 plays within each one of these games that like could have been the deciding factor for the Cardinals to potentially been in a better record and a better situation. So I don't know. It's such a tough one. My fandom says do it, but then I also see on the other side of the coin where I'm like, damn, we need to see what this team can do. And I believe in the Cardinals, and I know most people that cover the Cardinals believe in it as well. But we need to see actions. We need to see results. Is there anybody else out there? I think obviously Hassan Reddick's the big name out there. But to you, is there any other edge rushers that you would say I would rather take him over Hassan?
So I actually I like to think outside, like, who's unhappy, which teams aren't winning, and who's really good and who hasn't gotten a contract yet. There's only one name, and I'm not saying this is me thinking outside of the proverbial box because the Cardinals have the money, they have the draft capital, and they need it, is Micah Parsons. So Micah Parsons with the Cowboys, like, they're not going to be able to pay everybody. That defense is awful. And Jerry Jones is going to soon realize, especially if they lose tonight to the Giants, they need to blow up something. He made it clear that CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott were the priority. Micah Parsons has already been complaining about how nobody's playing hard defense. It's just not working. you put him at, it wouldn't be number 11 in Arizona because of Larry, but you
Right.
put him in Arizona, you give a first-round pick, and you give him an extension, and whatever, more capital, it's worth it as a set-and-forget guy. Like, I can't get it out of my head about what he wouldn't look like in an Arizona Cardinals uniform at this point, because it's like, okay, Hassan Reddick's old, Micah Parsons isn't. Micah Parsons is an absolute game wrecker who is an all-pro defensive player who is a plug-and-play, hard defense, and then, I mean, him, Budda Baker, Kazir White, and Mac Wilson, get out of here. Like, it would just be, that would be mind-blowing, and it would be an immediate fix. But I don't think it'll ever happen. But that's one name for me that I've just been just like looking from afar.
That's
like,
a good
is there
name.
any way you can get the Cardinals?
You're right. I mean, the Cowboys today, obviously, if you guys don't know, about an hour from now is going to be kickoff for Thursday Night Football. Yeah, Thursday Night Football, right? That's where we're at, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. I don't know what day it is anymore. Jeez. Yeah, Thursday Night Football. So let's see what the Cowboys do. They seem to be in shambles. I know they were yelling at each other last game, so we'll see what happens. But dang, that's an intriguing name. And like I said, I want to be very, very clear, right? We're both kind of just spitballing. We're just what we would love to see. We're not saying we know any inside news or anything like that. We just want, that would be cool to see. Okay, awesome. Well, let's talk about this now. Okay. I think that the big storyline this week, Cliff Kingsbury, right? Cliff Kingsbury coming back to the desert. Let me ask you this here real quick. Do you think this is a bigger game? And I think the media makes it a lot bigger than maybe Cliff and Kyler want to admit, but somehow I think it is bigger. But what do you think of this game just from the get? Cliff Kingsbury coming back. What are your overall thoughts coming back to the desert?
I think that in a weird way, it just doesn't matter anymore, and you can thank Cliff for completely wrecking the entire ship so this hard reset had to happen.
Yeah.
He was like a double agent for Arizona Cardinals fans with Steve Keim. It's like the only way to get Steve Keim out of here is for him to hire somebody who's so ill-equipped to be head coach that he gets fired. And that's what happened. Yeah. But like when Cliff comes back, it's going to be cool. High five. Thank you for no more cell phone breaks and fruit parties in the middle of camp. This is a big boy football team now, and they're gonna conduct themselves as such. I've never I've been a harsh critic of Cliff forever as a head coach. Okay, I think he did a service to the entire organization, to Kyler Murray, everything. But as an offensive play caller, that's where he eats, and he seems to have found a little juice there. And you wish him luck. We know all too well what the first 3 weeks Cliff looks like and what week 15 looks like with Cliff. And the Washington Commanders haven't figured it out yet, but it's going to tell a lot about the Cardinals defense specifically on Sunday, how they can stop an offense they kind of know with a very, very electric quarterback who is just taking the NFL by storm in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cliff starts off hot and then it kind of dwindles down. I ended up speaking with the Commanders person who also covers the Commanders, and he's very, very high on Cliff. And I was like, just keep in mind that he was good for us in the beginning too, and it kind of just dwindled away. There was a reason why we call him Cliff Screensbury for a reason. It's just screen. But let me ask you this here real quick. Obviously, with the win from the Cardinals, it would put us at 2-2. It would put us back at 500. Do you think that this game is a must-win for the Arizona Cardinals? Obviously, if a win is good, but like mentally and for the organization and the culture, do you think this is a must-win for the Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, it's a must-win in, the theory of how this team's being run, not necessarily due to a win-loss in 2024. Cardinals probably aren't going to make the playoffs. Like, they probably aren't. And they can make a run absolutely with this offense. They probably won't make the playoffs this year. So this is more of like Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, Anthony Lynn, rookie quarterback, defense isn't really there. The offensive line isn't great. Like, this is a game the Cardinals should win. Right. And the thing the Cardinals have struggled with pretty much since Kyler Murray got drafted was the games that they should have won, they didn't. I remember like when they started 7-0 and 10-2 and they went on the road to Detroit, Dan Campbell's first year, Jared Goff's first year, and they lose in convincing fashion when they're the number one seed in the NFC. It's like, that's a culture thing. That's a head coach thing. So when you look at this now, it's like, I expect the Cardinals to win on Sunday because they're supposed to. And they're going to be prepared, and they're going to put Jane Daniels in bad spots, and the Cardinals are expected to win on Sunday, so I think they will. Because that's the mindset, just massive shift in what we've seen forever. It's just different now.
Do you think, because like I said, I'm very in tune with the Cardinal fans, and a lot of them are just waiting for the jump. They're waiting they're waiting in the bushes. Do you think that this hurts? I don't want to say legacy, but like I guess, legacy of Kyler Murray being franchise quarterback if he doesn't get this win. Because I think there's just a lot of storylines, and it might be made up by the media. That's probably factual, but like to have Cliff Kingsbury come to State Farm Stadium and get a loss. And I'm speaking hypothetically, if we start off 1-3, do you think that it affects the way that the Cardinal fans, maybe not the organization, but the Cardinal fans look at Kyler Murray?
No, and like again, I'm not trying to state like no, and how they lose, if they lose, say they lose 17-3 and the Cardinals offense doesn't wake up. That's different than if the Cardinals lose 34-31 and the defense just couldn't stop anybody.
That's fair.
It depends. Like last year was very future pacing. Like, okay, these young guys, if they can continue to do this next year, that's going to be good. It doesn't really matter about last year. For Kyler Murray, it's more about how he plays and not the outcome. Sure, winning games, of course, winning quarterbacks win games. We've seen magic from Kyler Murray winning games. And if he has 300 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns and they lose, it's like, what are you supposed to do? So we're kind of in that thing. But listen, if they lose, if the Cardinals offense can't carve up this defense, yeah, right, we're going to be having difficult conversations starting early this year. I just don't see it happening.
That's fair. Okay. Well, I love the optimism. I really do. I'm a little worried because you're right. That whole stigma of Cardinals lose to teams that they should win, that actually, and it's just Arizona sports in general. I feel like if you're playing somebody, if you're the Phoenix Suns or the Diamondbacks, former Coyotes, you should beat that team, and they just don't. So, dang, I forgot. But yeah, you brought that up, and now I'm worried again. Okay, so let me ask you one last thing, and I'll let you go. Okay, yeah. So you seem pretty confident in this game. How do you think this game is going to shake out? Or I guess, what do you think the X factor and what the Cardinals need to do? Because you're right. I think on paper, if you look at like Daron Payne or Jonathan Allen, you think that they got a good defense, at least in that line. But everybody else outside in the back, it seems like a very, very carvable defense. What do you think the Cardinals need to do to win this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and this is kind of off the script of what we've seen from Drew Petzing, especially in week 1 in the second half, is we're going to see more of Rams offense. I just want to see Kyler Murray huck it, full steam ahead, more of a Cliffy baby offense, like speed up, go, run the ball, of course, but they've got so many weapons, and it depends on if Trey McBride's going to play. It's going to change things. I know Elijah Higgins has been fine. Like he caught that touchdown pass in the back of the end zone on week 2, but I think that this is going to be a Marvin Harrison Jr. game where it's like this is the real coming out party. 12 targets, 9 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like it's going to be one of those things where it's like they can do this against defenses that can be had, and I think this is the first time we're going to see it in kind of a different way than run, play action, run. I think it's going to be more of the former than the latter, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points. And if they get a win, it's going to be good. It'll be a statement win. It's not a must win. It's a statement win with you beat a team at home against your former head coach. Who cares about that? This is the new Cardinals. Go get it done against a team you're supposed to beat.
Love it. Do you do predictions usually or not really?
Not really. I mean, I will. I think it's for the wagering people, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals are going to put up, I think it's going to be like 30-24, 30-20, something like that. And something like that.
All right. Well, Alex, I appreciate you for jumping on. Thank you so very much for obviously giving us your opinion on the Cardinals. I'm going to let you go. Thank you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not checked out Alex Clancy from Locked On Cardinals, I will be putting it here in the description below, most likely when the stream ends because I forgot to do it. So I'll be doing it when the stream ends. But definitely go and check them out. I appreciate you. Do you want to go and shout out your Instagram, Twitter, anything else you got?
Yep, at Clancy's Corner on Twitter, and then Monday through Friday, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, Locked On Cardinals.
All right. Appreciate it, Alex, man. Thanks, dude. Later. All right. Let's continue on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue on. Appreciate Alex for jumping on. It's always good to have a different conversation, and it's good to not just talk to yourself, right? At the end of it's good to not just talk to yourself. So I appreciate you for jumping on. And I think with where we are at right now as an Arizona Cardinal organization, we got a chance. We got a chance, lady. We got a chance to make this season back on track. And it all starts with the win. It all starts with the win. So we're going to do this. Cliff Kingsbury did speak today, of course, because like I said, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest things that if you don't know, you're gonna know. A lot of people are talking about the idea that all these questions are being asked to Kyler, right? All these questions are being asked to Cliff Kingsbury, right? How do you feel about Cliff coming back? How do you feel about Kyler? All this different stuff. So Kyler Murray did speak already. I think most of us already saw it. And then we had Cliff Kingsbury asked today about how he feels about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And, we don't expect fireworks, right? I think at the end of the day, none of us expect fireworks. But I think I'm glad that Cliff Kingsbury took this approach, because at the end of the day, it reminded me how cool Cliff was, right? As a person, although, as a head coach, he probably wasn't there for me, but how cool he was as a person, right? I want to be very, very clear. So let's dive into what Cliff Kingsbury had to say about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go and play it.
Back. Obviously, over 4 years with Kyler, there were some highs, there were some lows. Like, looking back on it now with some separation, what did you make of that relationship? Where is it now, and how do you think he's playing these days?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch him. The end of last year, I thought you could see the confidence getting back in the knee, and he made a bunch of big plays, played really well, and he's played great this season. They're a couple plays away from being undefeated, so you see the speed, the quickness, the competitive nature is there. So it's been great to see. He's a guy I basically banked my entire career on what he would be, and I still believe in it. And it's cool to see him playing as well as he is.
Cliff, welcome back. When you think of your time here, what comes to mind? Are you bitter about how it ended, or
no,
did it
not
take
at
you a
all.
long time to process it?
I mean, that's why I still got my house here, man. I love it out here. So I will always be grateful to Michael for giving me that opportunity that he did. First fired college coach to ever get that opportunity, and then the guys in that building, I see some of my closest friends, and then the team. You watch those guys play at James Conner or Buddha, they still inspire me. So nothing but positive memories.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, it really is. He took the good approach. I'm not gonna. He took a very good approach. Kudos to Cliff. Honestly, this could have gone any which way. We know how bad it ended, right? Cardinal fans, we know how bad it ended. Year 4 of Cliff Kingsbury, we saw a explosion, blow up. We saw everything. We saw it all. And it wasn't just Cliff. It was the upper regime at the very top. It turned ugly real fast, real bad. So I'm glad he took this approach. I really, really do. Now, Kyler Murray was asked about, the difference between Drew Petzing and Cliff Kingsbury's offense, and I'm not sure if you guys already heard it, but I made a video about it a little earlier, and he just basically says that obviously one offense is depending on one thing, and then the other one's depending on other, and he just winks, right? Gives that little slight wink. Now, short of that, Kyler Murray really didn't say anything bad. The media also asked, do you feel a certain way towards Cliff Kingsbury? And he actually said, no, I mean, I've seen him, right? I've seen him. So it doesn't seem like there's like bad blood between the two. And there really shouldn't be, right? It's all business. At the end of the day, it's all business. But I do think that there is a level of, man, we need to get this win, right? And that's coming from both these guys, right? That's coming from both these guys, right? There's a level of competitiveness as a human being that you want to win this game, that you want to win it, right? Coming from Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator of Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels looks good. He looks like a really good young rookie, so kudos to him. And then Kyler Murray with him puffing out his chest saying, hey, there's a reason why you kept me over the head coach that you just extended, right? In the general manager. But we know, right, Cardinal fans, we know how bad it turned. The homework addendum, the scapegoat, Kyler Murray feeling like this front office wasn't really in his corner. We heard some slight little comments, remarks here and there. We seen the blow up on prime time where Kyler Murray completely yells at Cliff, and then Cliff looks at him, and it just, there was nowhere other place to go but then the result of what had to happen. And the result that had to happen was obviously Cliff Kingsbury getting fired. But no will ill against him as a head coach. I think he is fitting in perfectly in the new position that he's in currently right now with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders as an offensive coordinator. I know there are some Cardinal fans out there saying, well, we should demote him. We should demote him to offensive coordinator. It's not as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, right? But I'm speaking for the adults in the chat right now, or the people watching this on the playback. If you are a supervisor, if you're a manager, and your boss comes to you and says, "Hey, you're not getting the job done. We will keep you, but we're gonna demote you." Like, it's an ego punch, right? It's an ego punch. But also too, like with the firing, he's still getting paid. I'm not sure till this day he's still getting paid, but there was maybe a few years. I think he still actually might be getting paid because there was a 5-year extension. So yeah, I mean he still might be getting paid, right? He still might be on the Arizona Cardinals books because of the 5-year extension. So like, it's a crazy situation, but it's definitely one of those situations that the Cardinals need to come out of this game with the win. Um, One thing that I will disagree with my guy Alex, I think this is a must win. I really do, because I think that this is a winnable game for the Cardinals. And then the alternative, if the Cardinals don't win this game, and you're right, it depends on what happens in this game. If the Cardinals lose by a 1 point, but the defense can't stop a lick, that might be different. Now, there is still a portion of the Cardinal fans out there that are probably going to jump out of the bushes and say, "I told you he's terrible, right? Kyler's not the guy." Just prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because after each loss, there's a lot of people jumping out of the bushes. Just putting that out there. But this is a winnable game. It really is. This is as winnable as you possibly can think of for the Arizona Cardinals. We're in year 2. We're making good strides. We should have been 2-1. Some people might have said that we could have been 3-0, but the Cardinals are a good team. We just got to put these two together. We can't play down to our talent. We can't. We got to take advantage of the business. And right now, the business is the Washington Commanders. We got to take them down. We got to take them down. We got Michael in the chat says, "Go Cards, go." Absolutely. Unsupportive manager. Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. It got bad. It got bad, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, if people don't remember, just like my guy, Mr. Fat Gangster in the chat says, it was getting ugly. You do not want to live in an environment like that, right? And Kyler Murray doesn't feel like his manager, right? And I'm putting this in terms of people that work day-to-day jobs, right? That have regular jobs. Imagine that your manager hates you, right? Or you think your manager hates you, right? Or think that your supervisor hates you. You don't want to perform at a level. You don't want to go through a brick wall for that guy at the end of the day. And it just kind of turned sour really, really badly. Really, really badly. So I think this is a must win for Kyler. This is a must win for the Arizona Cardinals fandom. This is a must win for Cardinal fans that are on the brink of, I don't know what this team is, right? This organization needs this win. They need this win. They absolutely do. We got my guy Adrian in the chat says K1 will pop off. I hope so. Hope so. I have no doubt that he will too. I think he will. Absolutely. I think he will. Let's talk about injuries. If you guys do not know, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to know now. Injury report for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, there was some information that dropped today, some information that dropped yesterday. If you guys do not know, Austin Eckler, a running back for the Washington Commanders, a part of their two-headed monster, right? You got the Bruiser and Brian Robinson, and then you got the Swifty guy, right? The guy is elusive, catch out of the backfield, catch the screen passes, and Eckler. Eckler was already ruled out. He's not going to play. So I'm not celebrating injuries or anything like that, but that's a huge blow for the Commanders. It really is. It takes away the level of the explosive running back out of the backfield. Can Brian Robinson still do it? Yes, he can. But the most effective guy that does that is already ruled out for Sunday. Now let's talk about the Cardinals, right? With what we've heard so far, Kelvin Beachum is back in practice. Trey McBride, this one hurts me. This one hurts me, ladies and gentlemen. This one hurts me. Trey McBride is not ruled out, but he's still currently under concussion protocol. And we're at Thursday, right? We're on Thursday. So he didn't practice on Wednesday and he didn't practice on Thursday. It hurts me. Do I have faith in Elijah Higgins? I do. Jonathan Gannon seems to have faith in Elijah Higgins. So we're going to obviously next man mentality, but hopefully nothing but speedy recovery from Trey McBride because we know what he can be. Although we haven't seen it in 2024 yet, we know that Trey McBride is an absolute beast. We know that. I've seen some people in the chat ask about Darius Robinson. Right now, we don't have an exact timeline for Darius Robinson. What we do know is that he's eligible to come back week 5. That we know. That doesn't mean he's coming back week 5, but he's eligible to come back in week 5. Now, obviously, next week, the biggest storyline is going to be, is Darius Robinson coming off of IR? Now, if he is coming off of IR, hallelujah, let's go. Because with Justin Jones going down, it's a big blow. It is. I don't think Justin Jones was spectacular, but he was a good spot, a good player. Now, I think Bilal Nichols is going to come in here and obviously take on the role. Dante Stills flashed last week, former 4th-round pick last year. I think it was a 4th-round pick. He flashed. We might use him as well. And then the Cardinals got, was it Jaquan Jones? Is that right? So the Cardinals are trying to bring in players because of, obviously, the injuries that we're currently going through right now. I'm telling you, we're going through the ringer. With defensive linemen, we are going through the ringer, ladies and gentlemen. The ringer. Defensive linemen are dropping. Right tackles are dropping. It's unfortunately, but nobody's going to feel bad for us at the end of the day. Nobody's going to feel bad for us. We got my guy in the chat says, bring back Jermaine Gresham. Shush. That's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Dude played with an attitude. I'm not even sure if Jermaine Gresham's even playing football anymore. Man, that's a name I don't think I've heard in a while. Big Bird says Higgy Bear is solid. I agree. Naquan Jones. There you go. Naquan Jones. Not a guy that's going to move the needle. Can I be wrong? Yes. Yes, I can. He's still young. I think last time I looked, he was like 26 years old, right? But a guy that really hasn't got an opportunity to really kind of flash and shine. I mean, with all the injuries that we got here in the defensive line, he might get his chance. But I think a lot of us want to see Darius Robinson. A lot of us would love to see Darius Robinson. Now, if you guys do not know, Marvin Harrison Jr. was put on the injury report yesterday with limited fashion. It seemed like he was available in practice today. So I really wouldn't be too worried about Marvin Harrison Jr. I know there was a couple Commanders, people reaching out to me saying, oh, is Marvin going to miss? I don't think Marvin's going to miss. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is fine. He was limited. Yeah, that's a fact. But I think if there's one person that that probably will miss over Marvin, it's probably going to be Trey McBride. That hit was gnarly. That hit was not a good hit. Brian Branch and Trey McBride head-on-head collision. All we could say is obviously prayers up to the two of them. But we're still sitting on Thursday, right? We're still sitting on Thursday right now. So there's a lot of time between now to Sunday to the kickoff for Cardinals versus Commanders. Adrian in the chat says, hopefully Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne don't pop off this game, and they have not been great so far this season. That's facts. Oh, that's facts. Yep. On paper, I think they are a 1-2 great 2 players. But you're right. They haven't been doing nothing. To be honest with you, we got to give kudos to where kudos is due. I think this offensive line that we had, short off of the swing, right, of the right tackle position, I think this offensive line for the Cardinals is actually pretty freaking solid. Like, they're actually pretty solid. Will Hernandez for a whole Paris Johnson Jr., Evan Brown, like they're actually holding their own. Like, they really are. They're actually giving time for Kyler Murray to pick apart what's happening, right? Now, obviously, if you have an Aiden Hutchinson on your team, and those 3 seconds can turn to 1 second or 1.5 seconds. So obviously it depends on who you're playing, but I think that the Cardinals' offensive line is actually pretty darn solid. Hey, maybe one of his best offensive lines he's had, to be honest with you. Let's read a couple more chats here. You guys are definitely being very, very engaging in the chat. Appreciate you. We got fully out of control says, we got to start winning more consistently so our fans can be happy and maybe go see a Cardinals home game at a stadium. I'm tired of seeing more fans, other fans in the house. Protect the nest. Let's go Cardinals. Here's the thing, right? I know this was a big talking point last week because the Lions took over State Farm, right? Or at least one side. There was a lot of Lions fans. A lot of Lions fans. What cures that? Winning, right? You're right. The Cardinals need to win. And that's the thing. I do believe in Jonathan Gannon. I think he's going to right this ship correctly. I think we're going to be fine. It's just we got to learn how to win. Once we learn how to win, and what I mean by that is that we got to play a full 60 minutes, right? The whole idea that the Cardinals aren't scoring points or compared to what we do in the first half, it's a lingering problem under the whole Drew Petzing regime. It happened last year, and it kind of bled through these 3 games, right? Short of the Rams game, but it happened in those 2 losses. We weren't able to score very many points. But once the Arizona Cardinals realize how to win games, we can win games. The Buffalo Bills destroyed 2 of their 3 opponents. 2. Destroyed the Miami Dolphins. Destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guess what? The Cardinals only lost by 6 points, and we were in Buffalo. And then we got the Lions. We only lost by a touchdown. Our defense really held their own. And we lost by 7 points because the offense couldn't do anything in the second half. Right? So there is a lot of hope and a lot of positivity. But you're right. What people mainly care about is the wins. At the end of the day, we can come out here and say, oh, well, this is positive. But as if there's no win, there's no W in the win column, people don't care. You're right. Cardinals need to start winning consistently. That's a fact. Deus, what's up, brother? He says, we need to stay out of shotgun for Kyler Murray. I think the Arizona Cardinals need to continue to run those heavy packages. That's true, right? I like the fact that we are running shotgun because Kyler Murray likes shotgun and he's comfortable with it. But we need to continue with this game plan, right? Heavy sets. Tip Ryman probably is going to have a bigger focal point, right? A bigger role if Trey McBride misses. Elijah Higgins will have an even bigger role, right? Especially catching the ball, being more of a playmaker guy. But Tip Ryman, he can still catch the ball. He's not a crazy playmaker, but he can still catch the ball. So you're right. Consistency is key for the Cardinals. Absolutely. Let's continue to talk about Cliff. Cliff, you're a great guy. Your voice is as soothing as rain dropping on this window here, right? Or if we even got rain here in Arizona, but you know what I mean. Very, very soothing. Great guy, great personality. It's just that this is the time where the Cardinals organization and the fandom need to step up, and the team needs to step up for Kyler Murray and win this game for him. I think this game means a lot to Kyler. We need to come out here with the W. Simple as that. We need to win. Must win in my eyes. Some people don't feel it the same way, but definitely a must win in my eyes. Chris F says Concrete Connor will redeem himself, and that will help Kyler Murray. Yeah? Well, I mean, we know this offense can be very, very good if our run game is very, very good, right? We can't have Kyler Murray outshining James Conner in rushing yards. We can't have it. Learn from week 3, and let's make it right here in week 4, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Huge shout out here to my guy, Alex Clancy, that joined us in the first part of the stream. If you guys did not watch it, definitely go and watch this on a playback. We will be closing up shop here soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I did make a question to you guys. I know there's not a lot of engagement when it comes down to the live streams. That's on me. I think I'm going to be a little bit more consistent. I understand people do not get notifications. Maybe unsubscribe, resubscribe, make sure you put those notifications on. I don't know what else to tell you. I think there's a lot of people that are not having notifications when it comes down to these live streams. But for the people that are in here, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to give a huge shout out here to BetUS because the Arizona Sports Fan is powered by BetUS. If you use promo code YouTube150 upon signing up, you will be getting a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, and on your next 2 deposits will be 125% sign-up bonus. Now, that will be up to $2,000. on your one using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be closing up shop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to every single one of you guys. We got 3 days away, or less than 3 days away, from Cardinals versus Commanders. A must-win in my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to close up shop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.